Salakia. 1 second. Let's see where this guy is going. Alright. Let's just move up here. One second. I got you. Get started in a minute. All right. Salakia, let me make sure we're situated here. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, through the Spirit, I wanted to get into this lesson. I was going through a few precepts. I had just finished watching this video that was done by the I forget the brother's name, but his channel is GMS Austere Man. You know, he does you know, very good videos. But the video that I was watching that he did was on protests based on rent prices going up, cost of living going up, you know, all that stuff. Man, these people, this place sucks, man. We all trying to get something. Damn near cars coming back to back. Salakia, you just we all out here trying to get something too. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me just secure this right here. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, I was watching the video he had done. I didn't finish the whole thing, but so far what I was, you know, watching concerning the prices of rent, you know, going up, you know, and you have people that are, I believe they said like the average price in New York City will be like $2,700, you know, $2,700 a month for rent. You know, and you had people that were saying, look, that's insane. You know, that's insane. It's like nearly impossible, you know, for people to be able to pay that, because that's, you know, that's a lot of money. All right. You had, you know, typically people would be looking around like, you know, like 12, 1,300, 1,500, depending, you know. But now you're telling them, nah, it's going to be 2,700. You know, a lot of people are protesting against that. You know, they're upset, and they don't think that that's okay. And it's going to get to the point where it's like, all right, well, what can people actually do? You know, and the government, of course, is going to have to step in and all of that stuff. Nevertheless, the as I was reading the different precepts and going into it, that's when I got the inspiration for the lesson. All right, that things will never be the same again. And when you look at the way the world is right now compared to, say, 2 years ago, and then compared to, say, 6 years ago, the world is different, right? And I remember, I think roughly around 6 years ago, that summer is when you had that Pokemon Go. I don't know if y'all remember that whole Pokemon Go thing, and you had people, I mean, doing ridiculous things just to catch a virtual so-called Pokemon, right? Nevertheless, I mean, you had grown people. Here it is, middle of the night, 2, 3 a.m. Y'all outside walking around, you know, stupid shit like that. But it's still, there was still a certain theme that wasn't the way that it is now. And right now, the theme that we're seeing is just, I mean, major calamities coming upon this place on a very, very high scale, on a very, very high level. And it starts with the grinding halting, right? It starts with the work, everything coming to a slowdown, okay? Because of, you know, you have disruptions of the supply chain, and the way society is built, everybody has a role to play. And when some are not able to play their role or do it the way that they normally would, that changes life for everybody. Now, with this slowdown that's happening, all right, this pending collapse that's coming, it's gonna cause a lot of jobs, you know, a lot of layoffs, okay, and it's gonna cost a lot of things to be very expensive, all right, which a lot of people are not gonna like. So eventually, what happens when your rent now skyrockets, and you're saying, like, you work like a cashier or something like that, you know, and you were just barely, before this whole thing happened, you were going paycheck to paycheck, and now your paycheck is not going to cut it anymore. You know, people are going to get to the point where they're going to start taking to the streets. That's what they do. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. I want to start off here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 3. And it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Now, the keepers of the house, the word there in the Hebrew for keepers is basically goes back to the word shamar, all right, which is to keep, to guard, to observe, to watch, right? So in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the watchmen of the house, they're going to tremble. Why are they going to tremble? Because of the things that they're going to be seeing come upon the face of the earth. All right. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, right? You, strong men, you know, the army, and so on and so forth. Now, when you read, what is it? Is Jeremiah, okay? Jeremiah 30, it says, wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins? For what? For hardship and for lack of food. Because when you haven't eaten in a long time, and your stomach starts to shrink and shrink and shrink, eventually it becomes harder to stand up straight. You know, it becomes harder to stand up straight, and then you start to lean. You know, you start to walk leaned over. You know, you feel, you know, weak, lightheaded, and more likely than none, your hand is around that area, because that's where you're feeling the hunger pains. It says here, and the grinders cease because they are few. Now the grinders are those in particularly in the ancient world, you had different jobs, right? Different roles. And you had like carpenters, you know, you had fishermen, you had physicians, right? You had the different roles. And mainly among women, you know, you had grinding or grinders, which were those that would grind meal, right? They would use the millstone, and they would grind meal, and, you know, use it to bake and to cook, and, you know, for the things that they need. So you need somebody, because when you when you plant, right, you had husbandmen, you had shepherds. When you plant into the earth, and then you harvest it, and then the reapers come and they reap, they bring the sickle, they bind up the sheaves, they put it on the ass, and then they take it to the threshing floor. All right. Usually if it's grain, that's, you know, they'll take it to the threshing floor, and then they'll beat it. That's literally what this, it's a threshing floor, because you thresh the crops, right, on the floor. You hit, you're basically trying to beat the chaff off of it and have only the grain and the parts that you're looking for remaining. And you would do that, but now after you have that, you need to grind, right? Certain ones, you need to grind it to get your flour and your, you know, all of that stuff. So you need people to actually do that job. Now, like as the scripture is saying here, the grinders cease And when you go into the word cease, it means to desist from work, meaning they're not going to be working. They're not going to be grinding. And I'm not talking about the Babylonian grinding where women out here grinding their bodies on, you know. So it says here, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. So why are the grinders going to cease? Because they are few. Now, this, you know, is using the terms of the ancient world. But in essence, when you look at today, you have people that, you know, do these specific jobs, but it's really applying to all jobs for the most part. Okay, where it's gonna cease. The work, right? The workforce is gonna come down. The workload is gonna come down. It's gonna start to slow down, and that's gonna lead to an economic slowdown. Okay, because the economy's lifeline is the flow of money. Just like blood flows through your body and your arteries and your vessels, you know, to get to different parts. Well, that's how money for an economy is. You know, it goes, you know, throughout. So if money is not moving, things are slowing down. That's bad for the economy. It's gonna eventually halt, right? So it says here, Shalom, Yahweh B'Shem El Shai Brakatha, why Yahweh B'Shem El Shai Brakatham. And it says here, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Yeah, because when you go out here, like for example, when you on a Sunday, right, or on a holiday, you'll see a lot of stores. When the stores close shop, you have stores that have of course they close their doors, but there's this like metal gate covering that they pull down, right? They pull it down over the, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's that metal thing. I don't know how to really describe it, but they pull it down, and then when it's time to open shop, whoever is opening has the key. They come and unlock the locker or whatever, and then they lift up the metal, you know, gate looking thing, and then they open the doors and they keep on going on from there, right? So when a shop is closed, you know, out of business or closed until further notice or whatever the case is, you know, the doors are going to be shut because it's not open. You're not going to be able to go in there. You're going to have certain supermarkets, you know, certain stores that you usually go to, they're going to eventually start closing down. And a lot of these smaller shops, right, as they call them, mom and pop shops, they're closing down. So in the condition that the economy is in now, where if the Feds continue or the Fed continues to hike interest rates, that's going to cause more of these smaller shops and other businesses to feel the pain even more. Why? Because if this bodega or this store here, a lot of them take out loans in order to cover expenses. When you open a business, there's a lot of expenses you have to pay. All right. You got to make sure that the health standards are up. You got to make sure that the electricity is running, the water is running, the heating and the ventilation and all of that is running. All right. You got to cover all of that. Then you got to pay for your employees. Then you got to pay for the products, you know, that you're using. You got to pay for any transportation. All of these things you have to pay. When you open a business, you don't have that money right away. So that's why people take out loans so that they can cover these things and they can set up their business, and then they can start to make revenue or make money with their business. And with that money, they can pay off the loans and make their profit that they're, you know, looking to make. Yeah, this damn thing over here, man. Right? So now when the Fed hikes interest rates, that makes it harder for businesses and people to take out loans. Damn annoying ass little shit. Right? It makes it Slakia. It makes it harder for businesses to take out loans. And when it makes it harder for them to take out loans, some of them, and on top of that, you may still force and take out the loan, but business slows down. And when business slows down, that means that you've taken out a loan and your means of making money to pay back the loan and to make your profit is not there anymore. That's on the one hand of if the Fed hikes, they go with the hiking, right? And that slows down the economy. That's why they're talking about right now fears of a recession, because pretty much a lot of things here that function run, a lot of these companies and businesses all take out loans. Okay, they take out loans, and so when it's harder to do that, it starts to slow down a lot of things. Now, if the Fed was to say, all right, we're not going to go with that route, we're just going to try to go little by little and allow inflation to keep on rising, eventually, if it's unchecked or if it's not checked enough to start coming down, it's going to keep on going up. And when it goes up and it steps into hyperinflation, or it even gets close, that's also going to cause these businesses to shut down. Because say your worry is not dealing with with expensive loans that you're trying to pay, and it's a spirit. As I was talking about that thing, I can see somebody right now walk into a store to unlock it and to roll up that metal sheet, door looking thing that I'm talking about. Nevertheless, when prices of things are out of this world because the value of the money is going down, once again, these businesses feel that, because since they have to pay more, right? Since they have to pay more to get the products that they're going to sell to you, they have to increase the price at which they sell it at. But the problem now is you might not come there as often to buy things, because now your rent is going up, your electricity bill is going up, your utilities bill is going up. So you don't have as much money left to come to the store and buy these things, especially at this high price. So now these companies or these stores start to lose money. So either way, it gets to the point where there is going to be, or as we're seeing right now already, there is a halting, security gate, the water. So there's a halting of work, and of the flow and of the movement of things. And eventually that's gonna bring about that crash. And once it crashes, see, when you slow things down, if you play your cards right, eventually over time you can start to get it moving again. But when you crash things, it's gonna take longer. And based on how the economy is set up, once this thing crashes, there's not really going to be a revival of the same system. There's going to be instead a replacement, of the system. Shalom. This is Stay in the Spirit 144. This is from Zero Hedge. Many service firms are now seeing households increasingly struggle with the rising cost of living, with producers of non-essential goods seeing a similar drop in orders. The water. Perfect. So just as I was saying, when you work and you get money, right? You get paid at payday. You have a certain amount of money that you get, and the priority is the bills, and then after that you're left with whatever is left, and you can use it for whatever you want to use it for. So you pay the bills, and then eventually, if you have anything left, you use it for what you want to use it for, right? But now here's the thing. When your bills, if say 50% of your paycheck goes to bills, say rent and household bills, right? 50% of your paycheck goes to that every time you get, every time the month comes around, right? Now, because of inflation, instead of you paying 50 and the rest is up to you, how you want to spend it. Now you got to pay 70% of your it. Now you got to pay 70% of your paycheck is now going to bills. What does that mean? That means now you only have 30% left to use for what you want to use it for. So if you have 30% left, that means you need to say, okay, now I need to think about what I'm going to use this 30% for. Clearly, I cannot use it for the things I was using it for before, because I only have 30% left of my paycheck to use, right? And then the thing about inflation is it doesn't just stop. So then next time, after a month or a couple months, now you got to spend, instead of 70% of your paycheck on bills, you spending 85% of your paycheck on bills. And then that means you have only 15% left of your paycheck to use for anything else. So now these other stores that you go to spend that 15% of your paycheck, right? What's going to happen to them? They're going to see a decrease in demand from you, because you cannot come there as often, or you cannot spend as much on them because you don't even have that much to spend. And that's why I uploaded a video, and it was dealing with they were saying that inflation is gonna really hit a lot of people. It's gonna really hit a lot of people coming around 4th of July, you know, that time, because that's when people are gonna wanna, you know, I've been seeing this post where people are posting talking about, I don't know, for this summer, I don't know if I should go crazy or go stupid. You know, and you look at it, and Jake is still looking for a way to go out there and live that kind of life they want to live, but it's too expensive now. You want to go and take road trips, but it's too expensive now, because not only is gas more expensive, look, man, I don't know what the hell they put in that joint, but his drink is the car is swimming in it. All right, it ain't sipping. All right, it ain't taking licks. Is gulping, showering, you know, washing dishes. Your car is doing everything in the world with that gas, because that thing is going fast, right? So they're realizing, yo, I don't even, after buying gas and paying bills, I don't got money to even buy the ingredients that I'm gonna use for this cookout. You know, I don't even got money to rent out this hotel or this spot that I want to rent out to go to in the summer. Because not, see, here's why it's so bad, right? Going back to the example I gave about the paycheck, and when you're spending 80% of your paycheck on bills and you have only 30% left, it's not like the things that you use the 30% for are going to stay at the same price. They're also going to be increasing. See? So if you go out to eat, or if you go to the movies, right? Or if you go, you know, to buy groceries or whatever, guess what? You're going to realize that, yo, I only got 30% of my paycheck left to spend on these things, but I can't even do all three. I can't go out to eat and buy groceries and go to the movies. I got to cut something out because everything is more expensive. So going back to Ecclesiastes, like it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And that's a lot of companies are starting to lay off a lot of employees, which is even worse. When you are already struggling as it is with the paycheck that you're receiving, what happens when you're not receiving a paycheck? And then to add on to that, right? To add on to that, a lot of Americans did not really save. Because through the past 2 years, things have been, you know, been so, you know, shaky that a lot of people dived into their savings, you know? And so I saw a headline of an article that said that since a lot of people didn't really save, that cushion that they would have had to take them a little longer if a recession sets in is not really there anymore. Because if you get laid off, immediately you're trying to jump to whatever you've saved for a rainy day. But if there's nothing there, you're getting wet. So it says here, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Now I want to go to this next precept here in the Apocrypha, because like I titled the video, that things will never be the same again, because things are going to keep on getting worse and worse and worse. So the way things are now, oh, that's a spirit. Rakathay Halba Shemel Shai 144. The way things are now, you have people that are protesting, people that are saying, look, things are bad, things are worse. Now, I remember when, wow, I remember, I think it was 2020, and you had people posting memes about them stepping over 2020 into 2021. Or it's either they did that for 2020 or they did that for 2021. You know, pretty much saying that, look, I'm finna just, I want to skip 2020 and 2021, and I want to dive right into 2022. And I remember the reaction for seeing those things was that, wow, you people don't even realize that you trying to skip 2020 and 2021 and jump into 2022, now realizing that when you get to 2022, you're gonna want to go back. You're gonna say, damn, I thought 2019 and 2020 was bad. Shit, this is worse. I'd rather go back and deal with that. And that's what people are starting to see now. So it's never gonna be the same. every second, every day, every week that passes, the state of the world is changing for the worse. And as it gets worse, people are gonna want to go back. They're gonna want to hit the undo button, but that's not how life works. So this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5, because ultimately, reality is gonna set in when people realize that the false sense of security and the false sense of power, they don't have that anymore, right? Or they realize that that was false. So this is Second Ezra chapter 5, verse. I want to start at verse 9. It says here, "And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber." Yeah, so salt waters being found in the sweet, meaning if you go right, let's take sweet, let's take sweet water, right? Let's go with the example, right? If you go to a place that you know the water is sweet, and when I say sweet, I don't mean literally sweet, but I mean the water is good, it's fresh, it's not contaminated, right? When you go to an area that you know has quote unquote sweet water, that's what you expect to get. But now when you go there expecting to get sweet water, instead you're gonna get salt water, which is the opposite of what you want. So a lot of things are gonna happen to where people are gonna start getting, the opposite of what they're looking for. They're gonna go looking for one thing and they're gonna find out that that's not what it is, and it's actually something worse. All right. It says, "And all friends shall destroy one another." Why is that? Because as they say, damn, I can't remember what they say, but it's along the lines of when you see somebody's true colors and the level of desperation that the world is going to be put in is going to force people to show a side of them that even they didn't know they had. And of course, their friend would not know that because their friend has not seen them in this condition before. If somebody hasn't been put under a certain level of pressure before, they don't know what they're gonna do when they're put under that level of pressure, right? Neither does the people around them. So it's gonna come down to the point where friends are gonna separate because of hard times. They're gonna come against one another and fight like enemies because of hard times. And you know what? That's gonna show you that a lot of these people don't really have friendship, because when it comes down, okay, we friends and everything until it comes down to where one of us has to sacrifice, right? If there is a if there's a food package, right, and there's only enough for one family, and I got my family and you got your family, and we both come across this and there's only one here, and we're friends, what happens then? This world doesn't teach, sacrifice or, going through things together. So they're gonna say, look, bro, you know my daughter, you know how she is, my mom, my wife, she's not too strong right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna need that. And then the second one of them says that, the other one says, what you mean you gonna need that? So what about me? What am I gonna need? What's my family gonna need? See? And eventually it's gonna lead to that chaos, because somebody's gonna say, I want that box, right? And the other's gonna say, no, I need that box. So then it's gonna come down to, well, who needs it more? And if you try to reach for it, he gonna reach for you. It's not funny, but it's funny, but it's not. So this is Stay in the Spirit 144, Proverbs 17:17. A friend loveth, there we go. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A lot of people about to find out they ain't really friends. Yes, exactly. Because today, look, today you walk past somebody, right? You see they got the same sneakers as you. Oh, shoot, those are the Air 99s. I made that up, right? These are the Air 99. Yeah, bro, I just copped them. Oh, word, bro, I copped those last week. Oh, yeah. Oh, yo, that's what's up, man. All right, we friends. What you mean we friends? You haven't proved them. You don't know how this person, You don't know how this person is. You don't know if they, you don't know anything about them, but we friends. Oh, what's good, bro? Hey, how you doing? Everything good? All right, cool, we friends. That's not That's not true friendship, because when the time comes when you need to rely on this person, you're gonna find out they're like, hey, bro, I don't really know you like that. I'm not finna go that far for you. See? Which is why the only real friends / family are the ones of the ones in Yahushua. Yeah, that's right. Because see, what did Yahushua say? No greater love is there than that one lay down his life for his brother, roughly paraphrasing. And the spirit of the Lord amongst the brotherhood is strong. All right, and it's so strong that in that time, look, the way brothers are or are supposed to be around each other is different. The love that brothers have is tied in with the spirit of the Lord. All right, and in the spirit of the Lord, the worldly selfishness is not there, because we're all a part of one body, and you're not selfish to yourself, So we're all a part of one body, and we move as such. And that's why in that time, the way brothers are going to look and analyze a situation is going to be different than the way quote unquote friends in the world are going to analyze a situation. And that's why those quote unquote friends are going to fight against each other like enemies, because they're not going to have the spirit of the Lord upon them to remain as brothers and to look out for one another. Instead of being selfless, they will be selfish. That's what hard times is going to bring out of people in the world. So it says here, because think about it, if you're willing to lose your life for your brother sincerely, then would you not be willing to sacrifice for your brother? And you know that, look, you know what? Cool. I understand your situation. Cool. I'm a sacrifice for you. But that's okay, because my sacrifice for you, because of me doing that, the Lord can say, look, I'm going to give you something else. And that way both of y'all are good. The Lord is not, if the Lord puts you in a situation where it's like, it's just you, and there's one thing that you need, but then another brother needs the same thing. The Lord is not doing that because he wants to cause strife between the two of you. The Lord doesn't want to cause separation between brothers. But what the Lord is looking to see is, okay, if you say you brothers, but if you truly are, what are you going to do in this situation? Who's going to be willing to sacrifice for the other? Or are you going to bring out the spiritual man, or are you going to revive the worldly carnal man? And if you bring out the spiritual man, then guess what? I'll reward you anyway. But going back to 2 Ezra chapter 5, continuing, it says, then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. And what are people ultimately going to be seeking for in that time? They're going to be seeking for information on what to do, because information keeps you stable. When you know what's going on, you're stable. Let me see. Okay. All right. You're stable in the mind, because you understand, okay, this is what it is. People bug out and panic when they don't know what to do. All right. So it says, it shall be sought of many, because people are going to want to know, all right, what's happening and what do we do? Like, okay, like, all right, this is here, but how do you know all this? Okay, and I forget how you know it, but what do we do? How are we going to make it? How are we going to eat? It says, then shall unrighteousness. So when wit hides itself, right, and understanding withdraws itself into his secret chambers, which is really just going to be remaining in the vessels of the Lord's chosen, because that's where the ultimate knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is coming out from. It's coming out from the vessels of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? Which are the chosen vessels that he has set. So when he withdraws it, he's gonna keep it within them to where it's not coming out anymore. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. Now we know what unrighteousness is. Incontinency is basically a lack of self-restraint, to where people are going to be, that's why it says the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people are going to do whatever they want to do without restraint, you know, without self-control, without any of that. People are going to be wilding out, bugging out, doing crazy ass things. Okay? Like where you get anarchy. When there's no rule, the things people do is out of this world. It's like, what the hell? Why would you do that? Right? It says here, be multiplied upon earth. One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say no. Because the way people are going to be behaving, Brakathay Hawba Shem Shai, 144, that's it. The way people are going to be behaving and the mindset they're going to be carrying, you're gonna realize that there's going to be few that are going to have the mindset of righteousness, and many that are going to have the mindset of selfishness and wickedness. And people are going to be looking for those that are righteous, those that are of the spirit of the Lord, because everybody else around them is going to be seeking to use them, all right, or they're going to have ulterior motives. So it says here, verse 12, and at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. And that's the painful part right there. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper, and they're gonna hope and nothing obtain. As as things get harder and harder and harder, people are gonna be hoping, you know, for a way out. They're gonna be hoping that some miracle happens, but that's not. No miracle is gonna come. There's not gonna be a happy ever after ending, all right, for the times that we're coming in. And so now, speaking on that, I want to go to 2nd Ezra 16, because what I'm about to read hasn't happened yet. And if it hasn't happened yet, what does that mean? That means that it's still ahead of us. It's still yet to happen. So that means that the bad things that are happening now, there's still a ways to go before Yahushua comes back. You know, things are going to get much, 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 much worse before the Lord comes back. Okay? So this is only the beginning of sorrows. And if this is only the beginning of sorrows, that means that don't expect things to start going back to the way they were. It's never going to happen. Never. There's only one direction that time flows in, and that's forward. Okay? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and I'm going to start at verse 22. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. So how do we know that the food shortages are going to get worse? Because of this scripture right here. Because if the food shortages and the famine they're warning about never happens, then 2nd Ezra 16 and 22 won't be fulfilled. So in order for 2nd Ezra 16 and 22 to be fulfilled, we know that these food shortages and the crises and the famines that are coming are in fact gonna hit, and they're gonna get worse. So much so that many of them that dwell upon the earth are gonna die. It says, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Because not everybody is gonna die of starvation. Some are gonna either have stocked up food, or, you know, find a shelter, or find somewhere that they can have food. But just because you escape from famine doesn't mean you're gonna escape from the destruction that's to come, because it's still gonna be dangerous out here. You know, people are still gonna be out here getting murdered, getting stabbed, getting shot, you know, getting thrown off a cliff, getting hit by cars, getting hit in the back of your head. Look, when in that time, somebody could be crossing the street and somebody just comes at them full speed, boom, just runs them over and just keeps on going. So when the societal collapse happens, you know, it's gonna be completely brutal. All right, and ain't no chill. So it says here, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. Yeah. So there's going to be dead bodies laying out here, just like you may walk around and you're going to see, look, you walk around and you see dung, right? You see pigeon dung, you see dog dung, you know? But just as you can walk down the street and see that, you're going to be seeing dead bodies. Because in a regular society, you got people that die, but what happens when you die? You have the morgue, right? You know, they do the autopsy, they do all of these things, and they diagnose the, okay, well, or maybe not diagnose, but they find out, okay, what was the cause of death? They do all these things, they prepare the body, they charge you, you pay for the expenses of the funeral, all these things happen, right? Now, when all hell breaks loose, when society collapses, you actually need people, right, who are in those fields to perform the autopsy. You need undertakers. You need people, you need everybody in their job to make these things happen, right? So when the society collapses, that's not going to be happening. When you take a look back a year or two ago, I think they were putting bodies in like, piling the bodies up in like refrigerators or some shit like that, and throwing them out, something like that. But the point is, there's going to be so much death that ain't going to be no normal means of, they preparing the body and we're getting ready and we're going to have the funeral on the 15th and we're going to invite everybody. That's not going to happen. That means somebody could be running and get shot in the head with a stray bullet and they drop dead and their body's going to be there. And what happens when you have a dead body just laying there, over time in the sun? Eventually it starts to rot. There's a reason you bury bodies inside of the earth. So it'll start to rot and it'll start to decompose, it'll start to break down, and it'll start to smell. And it's gonna start breeding, it's gonna start mumbling, making shit up. Who is this? L? Yeah, let's get this guy out of here. Where you at? Right, and then let's take this out of here. There you go. Yeah, and it's I mean, these guys are so irrelevant, especially now when we see in prophecy being taking place. It's like when people come and they put these comments on here and all of that, it's so irrelevant. Like it literally is so irrelevant because our focus and our mind is so fixated on prophecy, on the things that the Lord is doing. So I mean, if you come talking shit, you're really wasting your time, and I mean, you're only doing a detriment to yourself, because now you just see, guess what? The Spirit of the Lord is bearing witness of all of these things. So it's like if we're in a room with the Spirit of Yahushai and you come in there and you talk shit, you interrupt the flow and you talk shit. Guess what? You done put a target on your back, because now Yahushai is like, this nigga, man, mark him. All right, mark him. So anyway, you're gonna have these dead bodies out here, and guess what? You may be walking down the street and you may recognize a face that's on the floor. Because when judgment starts going out, fear is gonna accompany right away. And don't worry. When that time comes, the Lord has different means of getting people. The Lord gets you when it hurts the most. And he knows exactly how to do it. He knows exactly how to do it. He knows exactly where to hit you, how to hit you, what to hit you with, to where it hurts you the most. And you know what? Maybe you might come across a brother. Maybe you might come across me. I don't know. And then you might go, there's no food, and I might tell you, hey, stop with that mumbling shit. The troops are coming. You better stop with that mumbling shit. I'm just joking, but anyway, so continuing, 2nd Ezra 16, it says here, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. So right now, are the cities cast down? Not yet. So what does that mean? That means that we're heading for an even worse time, to where there are going to be certain events taking place where you're going to have cities that are going to be completely brought down. Right now, the Sri Lankan economy has completely collapsed. You're going to have fires. You're going to have, fires being set. you know, buildings being broken down, and you know, just the way of things, the normal way of things, you know, being undone. Okay, and as it says, no man left to comfort them. So nobody's gonna be telling them, look, we're working on it or we're fixing it. Like what is it? Was it Odessa, Texas, where they're out of water, and you had people immediately tell, oh yeah, you know, we're on it. We got our best workers on it. Nobody's gonna come to give you that information. It's just gonna be the chaos, and that's it. And no matter what they say or what they try, you know, it's not gonna avail. So as it says, let me see how much time I got. Oh, all right. I'm gonna breeze through this. Lack of time, you know, so I could, you know, get through. So 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 24, it says, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. So when you sow and till, what are you doing, right? When you sow, you're planting. And if there's nobody left to plant, then there's nothing that's gonna be there's nothing that's gonna be harvested, right? And if there's nothing that's gonna be harvested, how you gonna get food? It says here, the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. What does that mean? There's going to be a lot of death. And when there's a lot of death, there's not a lot. And that's also a way of causing shortages. A lot of death. It says here, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Now, can you imagine how much death there needs to be in order for that to happen? I don't remember a day when I step out of my house and I don't see anybody. I don't even recall a day there's always going to be at least one body outside, you know. Even during when they did the shutdown and the lockdown, there was still somebody outside. Yep, like I Am Legend. And then he ended up talking to mannequins and stuff. There's going to be somebody outside at some point. At any point in time you step outside, there's bound to be at least somebody outside. So can you imagine how much death there has to be to where you're going to desire to see somebody because there's so few people left? It's going to be quiet. That's why in a lot of these movies and these TV shows, when after all hell breaks loose, somebody goes somewhere and they say something, all you hear is the echo. Hello, 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 hello. Right? Because it's so desolate people. The city is so desolate of men. It says here, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and of the field, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. Yeah, you might go somewhere and there's going to be so few people there, you know, and you like, yo, is there anybody here at all? And there might be people there, but they're going to be hiding. Okay? They're going to be hiding. Verse 29, as in an orchard of olives upon every tree, there are left 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Yeah, because according to the law, when you can't gather everything, you got to leave some for the widows and the poor to come and have something to eat in case they stumble across your vineyard, right? So basically, those that are going to be left is going to be like those tiny remains that are left, that are found by those that are diligently looking through to find something to eat. So it says here, even so in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search the houses with the sword. And that's going to be these troops, all right, that are going to go around doing door-to-door searches. And also there's going to be, you know, people that are breaking into other people's houses with the sword. It says, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. Now I'm going to pause it here, you know, and Lord willing, if the spirit hits, I'll come back. But the point is, it's going to get so bad out here that you're going to, just like in I Am Legend, you're going to have trees and vines and all of that growing inside of the cities. Okay? Because nobody's going to be here to collect the garbage. Nobody's going to be here to walk the paths. All right. So very soon, the way you see things now, In the future, people are going to wish they could come back to this time. And that's going to be the flow of this place until it gets, you know, it gets completely destroyed. Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash.